Welcome to the Jessica Rector Show. I'm your host, Jessica Rector. We as women tend to identify with our hair. We spend millions of dollars every year on going to the salon, beauty products, color, style, you name it, we spend it. And we spend countless hours a week fixing our hair. What would happen, what would you do if you started losing your hair? Welcome my guest today, Kelly Bartnichek, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about options you have if your hair is thinning. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Hi, thank you, Jessica. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about who you work for and what you do.
Sure. Well, I work for a small pharmaceutical company who kind of stumbled across this whole line of nail, skin, and hair care products. They actually started off as a pharmaceutical company in cough, cold, and allergy prescription medications. And about 18 years ago, ran into a dermatologist who helped them develop our #1 nail care item for nails that split, peel, and crack. And from there, over the last about 7 years, we've developed a whole line of nail, skin, and hair care products now to really help the not only dermatologist patients, but also now podiatrist patients. And we have about 10,000 doctors across the country that now recommend Elon to their patients.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. Well, basically how anyone finds out about our products, and I'm sure your viewers have probably never heard of Elon at all. Most people haven't. Normally how people find out about us is through their physician. And it's funny because, you go into your dermatologist for a wart removal.
Right.
Or, some other type of problem, whether it's eczema or psoriasis. And it's funny, on the way out is usually when they mention something like, oh, my nails are splitting and cracking. Do you have anything for this, doctor? Or my hair is thinning. I just noticed it's starting to fall out. What can I do? And of course, that's a dermatologist's specialty. So that's who they're going to ask.
Right.
And that's when they usually mention our products. Or a friend who recommends our products to them. We don't do a lot of heavy advertising, and that's why our products are very affordable as well.
So the Elon system, what does it do? First of all, why is it mainly geared towards women as opposed to men?
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. Men will wait until they're bald before they ask questions and say, oh, what can I do? I need hair now. At that point, it's too late. The hair follicle is already gone. And there has to be a hair follicle there in order to help that hair follicle strengthen and rebuild and not have the thinning problems that women
Right.
are complaining about. Women, the second they see a hair fall out, that's it. They're screaming to their dermatologist, what can I do? Because they're not letting it go any further.
Right.
And it's funny because a lot of women, their hairdresser will notice it first. They'll be, oh, did you do something different with your hair? I see it, it's coming out a little bit more here. And then they'll really, start to notice that they have a problem. And that's usually why our products are kind of more geared towards women because they'll realize it at the first step. And usually the reason for thinning hair are, some doctors will tell you it's genetics, which does have a little bit to do with it.
Right.
Usually one of the largest factors is stress. And stress is hard because it's not one that you can usually avoid. And,
Stress makes your hair fall out?
It does. And this is the reason why. Because the way our bodies works is it's actually self-preserving. Meaning that if you're sick, which this is the time of year, especially
Right.
when the temperature's going up and down. What happens is your immune system needs more fuel to fight off that sickness.
Right.
So what happens is your body takes it from those less essential areas. And unfortunately for us women, there are hair in our nails. We love them, we love to look at them, but unfortunately they're not essential to our survival.
Right.
And that's why, because our body is self-preserving, they'll go to our hair and our nails to get those extra nutrients that it needs to fight off that sickness. Or, it can be as simple as stress as, having kids.
Right.
Or work or a husband. There's many different stress levels that affect us, and that's how our body tries to make up for those nutrients.
So how does a woman know if it's something that they can something that they can get a product for, as opposed to they're not using the right shampoo. Because if you go to a lot of hairdressers, they may say, okay, well, you're using cheap shampoo, and that may be a reason why your hair is falling out. Spray in some vitamins. How do they know that they need to use a product like Elon as opposed to investing a couple more dollars in a better bottle of shampoo?
Sure. Well, I can answer that question in a few different ways.
Okay.
Stress is a big factor, but it's not the only factor. You mentioned topical products, and that is definitely a factor as well. If you're picking something up at the CVS pharmacy or your local pharmacy, usually those products will contain what are called sulfates. They're very stripping and damaging to the hair, especially for women who color, and a lot of us do. We want to use something that uses gentle ingredients. That's kind of what Elon does. We, make sure that it's not only color safe, but also color preserving, meaning that it'll actually help color to last up to 2 additional months longer because it's not as stripping. And one nice thing about that, and that's usually what you'll find with products in the salon versus the pharmacy.
Right.
You're going to spend a little bit more, but obviously you're spending more because you're getting a better product.
Right.
You're not getting something that's as stripping. What's nice about our products is, in addition to them being something that is very mild and gentle because of our low pH level, because it doesn't contain sulfates, but it also helps to break up DHT. DHT is something that builds up on the scalp and can actually start to cause thinning.
What is that? What is DHT?
DHT is basically something that builds up on your scalp from either not using the right cleansers, and it's not so much that you're not using the right cleansers, but you need something developed specifically for DHT to break up that buildup.
Okay.
And what happens is it basically builds up on the scalp that prevents the hair from growing out.
And how do you get that?
That's just from, not using the right cleansers, from using, things like on the pharmacy that do have those sulfates and kind of those ingredients that will tend to build up in the scalp.
Okay.
And if you're not using something that'll break that up, then that is also a cause for hair loss as well, because it will block the follicle from growing out.
So if the follicle doesn't grow out, then is it the only other option is to fall out?
Well, here's what happens is when the follicle will start to have a problem from, not getting enough nutrients or it being blocked. And what happens is it depends how quickly you approach that problem.
Right.
Whether you get something that'll help to break up that DHT or whether you provide the body with those other nutrients that it's not getting to make that follicle back to its healthy rate. And I always kind of compare it to when you were young and in your 20s and your hair used to grow long and plentiful. Versus when you're older and the body is using more nutrients, it's kind of at that weakened state. By using the right products topically and using some nutritional supplements too to help specifically for the hair if you're not getting them otherwise through your diet, or if you're using stress to have that where the body needs more of those things. And it's funny because usually, as far as nutritionally, how our body gets those extra nutrients are found in such products as eggs, which eating a lot of those can cause some cholesterol problems.
Right.
Or liver, which is not the greatest food to eat.
Right.
So it's easier to take it in a supplement, which is what we've developed, is something specifically to help with the hair problems. It's a combination of biotin, L-cysteine, and silica. And what's nice about ours is instead of a lot of things that you find on the shelf that have a lot of additives, we've taken them all out. So it's as gentle as possible. And that's what we've tried to do with all of our products, whether topically or orally.
Okay. On that note, we're going to be right back.